My name is Lisa Thompson from West Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and this is my testimonial for the Convention of States. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Most of us can agree that our nation has deviated from the ideas set forth by our founding fathers. They felt they needed to distance themselves from the dominance that was England, and felt being ruled by a people an ocean away was impractical. Those rulers had no idea what the day-to-day struggles for an inhabitant of the New World were. That disconnect led to the discontentment that caused our founders to look in a different direction and discuss the ideas that ended up forming this nation. Many of us feel the same can be said about these United States today. Our leaders in Washington, even though elected, suffer the same disconnect that the founders saw over 200 years ago. That disconnect has led to a divisiveness which has caused even more distress to our nation as a whole. This begs the question, what can be done to bring us back to the ideals our founders held so true? We the people need to reassess our views in government. True reform in our republic needs to come from within, and our founders gave us the ability to do so through the second part of Article 5 in the Constitution. It reads, 2/3 of state legislators pass applications for an amendments convention. The founders could relate to the reality that our government has become, an overspending, overstepping, overregulating, overreaching establishment, hampering the progress and interfering with the freedoms of the very people it's supposed to be governing. The Convention of States movement recognizes that and is ready to change it. Here right now, we and the Convention of States movement nationwide are taking the first steps towards the remedy provided to us. We're looking to encourage our individual state representatives to introduce, consider, and pass the application to make Wisconsin one of the 34 states needed to propose the amendments necessary to resolve the discourse that our government in Washington has created. A Convention of States allows us to reestablish the front line of government to the people that live where we live, work where we work, shop where we shop, and do business with us, not Washington. The Convention of 34 states enables those elected officials to propose amendments. Those amendments must then be approved by 38 states to become law. Educating oneself about how a convention will work is paramount to getting this application rolling. This Convention of States movement is different from other convention movements in several ways. Instead of focusing on one point, they are looking to propose amendments that will be limited to the following: amendments that will impose fiscal restraints on the government, limit the power and jurisdiction of that government, and limit the terms of office for its officials and members of Congress. As long as 34 of the 50 states can agree to the terms of this application, we can start the reform needed to put this country back on the path our founders guaranteed by Article 5. The following examples are amendment topics that could be discussed at a Convention of States: a limitation of using executive orders and federal regulations to enact laws. Congress is the only body of our government that is supposed to be able to enact laws. However, there have been over 13,000 laws enacted by presidents throughout history. Recently, we have seen some of those executive orders, DACA, the HCA, and some immigration policies challenged in court. Those challenges have either nullified, postponed, or altered the effects of the power of the pen orders. If the proper process would have been followed, bills introduced, debated, and signed into law, good or bad, these policies and laws would stand. Problems arise from creating policy with pen, and this needs to stop. Another example of a convention topic would be imposing term limits on Congress and the Supreme Court. How can we expect our elected officials to pass laws limiting their own power? One can argue we have the power to vote them out of office. However, 14 current members of Congress have served over 30 years. That's longer than most of us have been working our jobs. Another potential topic for the convention would be placing an upper limit on federal taxation. We all work enough for the man, and this year we all had to work until April 27th. It doesn't seem right that over a quarter of our hard-earned income goes to a system that's broken. Of course, these are merely examples of what would be up for discussion. The convention itself would determine which ideas deserve more serious consideration and will take a majority of votes from those states to propose those amendments formally. If you could relate to some of the issues that Convention of States is ready to tackle, please click on the link below and sign the petition. You may be contacted by someone in your area to give you more information how we together can make this change happen.